So let's talk about how we have the Canon 6D engineered to go through and display on the 7-inch field monitor that we have made by Newer. Once it's all set up, I just need to go through a powering up process by turning on the camera at the top here, and then I will turn on the monitor as well at its power switch that's right by the red light. As this comes up, we'll get a number of different types of notifications. It takes a minute for it to all kind of boot up. You'll notice on the camera it says ensure lens is attached. There is a lens attached. It's a cine lens. It doesn't have any electrical contact. The camera body itself doesn't know that it has a lens attached to that. And no big deal, because we'll be able to override that with all the manual controls of the lens itself. Now you notice that there's no signal coming up on the monitor there. And the reason being is because we haven't sent the monitor anything. And to do that with the 6D, we need to go through and put this in the video mode, which is the red camera that's there, okay? And then I'm gonna push this button, and what that does is it locks the mirror up, and it allows us then to see what it is that we're shooting. So we're gonna go through and frame up something here and pull focus on that. I have a bicycle framed up within that. I still don't have a signal over here on this side, and the reason being is because it's not in the correct mode. Right now it's in the AV mode, and I'm gonna hit the switch and put it in the HDMI mode. And you'll notice that when I do that, then the image disappears from the display in the back of the Canon and then goes over here to the 7-inch field monitor, okay? Now I can go through and change the amount of information that I have displayed here by hitting the information button on the back of the Canon 6D body. So if I just want to see picture, that's what I get. But better yet, having a little bit of information here, it'd be a time code, and exposure, and hit it one more time and it comes up with all the other parameters that the camera is set at. So that's kind of the initial nuts and bolts of this whole thing, and we'll go through and talk about what all these indicators mean in class there, but I wanted you to see initially what the setup is. There is a volume control on this, though it doesn't, it's not marked. These horizontal arrows that go left or right, they control the volume on this. Now I have this one turned all the way down, and I'll have all the monitors turned all the way down so they don't create a feedback loop when we go through and engineer those with the cameras. Feedback meaning there'll be an audio feedback loop. If we had an external mic set up on this, it would be feeding back and having a disturbing noise come through. The menu button on this brings up 4 different menus. The first one is an actual engineering of the monitor. Anything in black we can go through and change. Anything in blue is already set. The reason why this is already set in blue is because we're going through the HDMI input of this. And so we're pretty limited on what we can do. We want to make sure that we're seeing what the camera sees, and that's why that's locked out that way, okay? The next menu over just gets into the aspect ratio, the language that we're using, what kind of, just the basic setup of the monitor is concerned. The next one over gets into what we're seeing as far as the monitor display goes. I have that all off right now because what I want to see more is what the camera is sending the monitor and not the monitor itself. And then the F button here is simply to go through and set the function buttons on the control panel of the monitor. Again, they're already set for check field focus assist, center marker, and safe frames. I'm not going to worry about any of those for the time being. To turn the menu off, just hit the switch again, and we're set. Now, both the Canon 6Ds are already kind of pre-engineered. I've gone through the menus on both of them and have them set up for optimal video shooting. The controls that we have deal with the aperture within that. The camera will go through and take care of the shutter speed and then pulling focus with that as well. So you should be able to plug it in, engineer the monitor, make sure the batteries are set and ready to go, turn everything on, turn the camera on first, then turn the monitor on, make sure it's in the HDMI mode, and you should be ready to start shooting. All right?